cheers, and enjoy the beers. Yes, we made it. We're live once again. Greetings, welcome everybody, whoever is out there. Welcome back to Rasko and Disco Beer Review with me, Disco, live from what I'm still nostalgically calling the Disco Arms. Not really a home bar setup, just set up to look like a home bar, sort of. We have some live beer reviews. It is once again a match day. They come around so fast, it only seems like a hot minute. Since last Friday night, I did a preview show from right here for Argyle versus Watford, and I really enjoyed that show. So I thought, well, I'll do it again, especially after the complete shambles that was last night's non-show. The whole 10 minutes of it, I took down mostly in a fit of petulance. Very unprofessional of me, but I'm not professional. But here I am. Mr. Wilson, thanks for popping in. Yeah, fine today. Like I was saying, after yesterday, I was sort of very nonplussed with the whole thing. It was mostly my fault for leaving the YouTube window open, and I could hear myself back on that 7-second delay. If you've ever heard that or seen that, it's just confusing and annoying. I thought I turned it off. Evidently not. Compounded right now by forgetting to upload the intro video, so I had to wait there, hence 15 minutes late. As always, there's always something that goes wrong. My competence and incompetence is fantastic. So yeah, 3 beers today. Still a bash of the stash. Also, speaking is becoming a problem. Yeah, so I wasn't feeling great after yesterday, but I thought, you know what, I had it in the back of my mind to do another show, seeing as completely different time slot, something different for Tuesday Tipple. I've got about an hour and a quarter before I have to go and have a bit of food and go and watch the football. Argyle playing Norwich up in East Anglia today as an away game, one of the longest away games of the season and a bit of a trek, but one I always used to do. I enjoyed a trip to Norwich. Some decent beers up there, a couple of decent pubs we used to go to. Apart from the fact I haven't really been to football for a while, apart from watching it. Norwich on a Tuesday is a bit of a difficult one. I can't remember if you can get a train out of there to get back to London, let alone Plymouth. Obviously I cheat by living in London. The poor folk that I've got to endure 8-hour coach journeys or whatever it is up from the West Country. But yeah, I thought I'd do it. Probably not talk too much about football like we did on Friday. Just get some beers in. Let's get the first one in the glass and then we'll do the photo and all that. The first one up is a Big C from Mad Squirrel, and I've featured a few Mad Squirrel beers recently. This one's been in the fridge all day. Let's get it into the glass. Here's a 5.5% IPA. Don't see me doing too many IPAs, but I picked this one up in the supermarket. I believe it was Sainsbury's, pretty much because it had a green kind of can art, label art, really. Thinking it might be one to kind of, it's only very, very kind of slight kind of mint green there. I like the artwork on Mad Squirrel. They don't mess around. Brewery name, logo, beer name, beer style, percentage, sorted. Have a look at the information on the back in a moment. But there we go. Yeah, because it's got a green label. It's vaguely Argyle related, as are all of the beers tonight. Are very tenuously, and in fact not Argyle related at all, just because they're green. C, because Plymouth is an ocean city, they describe it as. It is indeed a city. I think that's a bit tenuously on the Atlantic Ocean. You have to go out a little bit first, but lots of beer. They've got a dockyard, naval dockyard, lots of relevance to the sea. Hence, I do these beers. Don't know what I'm going to do for the next one. I've got no other green labelled beers in stock, particularly. So I think for the next time, we'll have to find a different one. I can't actually remember when the next live on Sky Argyle game is. I should imagine it's around about Christmas, actually. but we'll see what happens then. I haven't really thought about Christmas. Well, I have a little bit, but I'll just do a few. Not really going to get into Christmas streams. I haven't got a beer calendar, advent calendar, and I'm not proposing to get one. So we shall see what happens. But yeah, thanks everyone for popping in. And Daychuck, where's my cursor gone? Let's do this. Wise words. And yeah, thank you guys and everybody else who inquired after my general status after last night's balls ups. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not okay. I've never been okay, but you know, I'm okay enough to crack on and get back on the train, as it were. So yeah. Yeah, so 5.5% IPA. I've got this confused with the West Coast, actually, I think, but I don't mind. Don't see me doing too many IPAs, particularly, unless I can get that theme in, but let's have a look. Yeah, big fruity hoppy nose. I think there's some sea hops in there. It's going towards grapefruit. It's going towards light kind of grapefruit. So, yeah, but it's quite light and fruity and juicy on the nose. I can usually tell, I think, anyway. See, I had that big sea hop dipper on Friday. That's completely caught me by it. Well, it would have caught me by surprise if I hadn't had that one before. Caught me by surprise the first time. But even on Friday, I was like, oh yeah, it actually is really nice, despite having Citra, Mosaic, etc. in it. See what this one's got. I think it's probably got a similar lineup, to be fair. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Yeah, it's beer that tastes like beer. I say that for a reason, because it's got that kind of citrus, a little bit of grapefruit, touch of pininess. As I always say, it's I'm not a big fan of that grapefruit pine kind of note, but this one's kind of, it's not muted, but it's balanced, and I like a bit of balance in a beer. It's a good one to start because it is quite light. It's not massively like twanging the old taste buds with grapefruit. It's also not quite going towards lilt. I much prefer the lilt end of grapefruit and tropical fruit. There's a touch of tropics there, but that pine is kind of drying through the palate a bit later on. This one was in spoons, was it? Oh, okay. I know it's in the supermarkets. I know obviously Mad Squirrel do get a few casks into spoons. I can't think I've seen that one in there, but fair play. Be interesting on a cask, I guess, because it is, you know, quite a juicy craft kind of juice bomb in a way. So to see that on cask, again, there's no difference. It's just beer. It's just good beer. But yeah, it's interesting to see that. I have a feeling though that like it's the sort of beer that I used to drink in, you know, pubs, including spoons, that was just a bit too grapefruity for my liking. My palate's kind of maybe getting more used to it now, so that's not too bad. It is like juicy and fruity, fairly refreshing, apart from that drying bit at the end. Ah, right, okay, in the cans. I must have seen it in there. Maybe it wasn't in mine because I picked those cans up from Wetherspoons last month, but I know there is a lot of Mad Squirrel in Wetherspoons, so yeah, it's not one I'll be rushing out to get again. It's one just to try because it fits in with the theme, I suppose. But yeah, cheers. Perhaps choose opponent's colour to choose. Yeah, I kind of did that on Friday with the Watford beer just because I had that one in. I'm trying not to buy too many more beers. That's the trouble. So now I've got now if I start going out and actually looking for beers because they fit into a theme, it's just going to cause me to buy more beers, which I'm not against, by the way. In fact, I nearly bought some on Monday, but then I noticed they was having a Black Friday deal, and that was McColl's. I think I said that the other day. So I'm going to wait till Friday before I buy any more beers, and it'll probably be McColl's. It'll probably be the beetroot one, so that won't fit into any theme I can think of. And I've had that one before, but it's one I like going back to. Another one I like going back to, and I very nearly did, but because of the McColl's thing, I thought I'd hold off, is Brass Cast when they've got a deal on at the moment at 20%. I don't know what the McColl's one's going to be, but they have Christmas beers, and I always like to try and buy their Christmas beers. The Christmas Kitty, the Christmas version of the Bad Kitty, the almond and cherry pale ale. named after a local cake, and they got a couple of other interesting stuff on there. They got some cans in Crowlers as well, which I've only seen 1 or 2 breweries do, and I've never got their Crowlers, so I might do that. Who knows? Who knows? Looking no, that's the thing. I there's 1 or 2 I often forget about. That's why I know. That's why I can say I definitely haven't got any other green beers in the green wrapped beers in the stash, and I can't see anything in there that's particularly even I can tenuously squeeze into an Argyle related thing. I've got about half a dozen other themes squeezed together and a couple of photos done so that I can put the thumbnails up. But yeah, and I don't think I've got any other kind of. Well, actually, I suppose. The fact that Watford's yellow and Norwich being green and yellow, that was kind of easy because it was a green and yellow wrapped beers, and I don't think I've got anything else of that. Like I said, I can't think who else we're playing. I should imagine the next one's Boxing Day probably. I can't think who that is. Christmas midweek, so there'll probably be one the previous weekend. But yeah, I'll have a look in the stash. It'll always be something. There's far too much in the stash still. I'm definitely not getting it all done by the end of the year. I believe I stupidly said in about September. You know, you make these challenges for yourself. I don't disagree with the silly boy bit though, by any means. I need to get some Sharkmas beers. Yeah, I might get a couple for kind of Christmassy vibe type stuff. Although again, I might not. Don't know. Yeah, what sort of beers are you looking at for Sharkmas? I think I missed that entirely last year. Yeah, there's always stuff about. Anybody seen any good deals this week? The old Black Friday, not I like the Black Friday thing. It really genuinely annoys me. But when it comes to beer and discounts, I'm all over it. Although the sort of breweries I look at, I probably don't need to be taking advantage of their discounts but they put them up, so they take advantage of them. What can you do, you know? As for this one, it's going down a while halfway through. I'm keep going back for. There's a little bit of lemon sherbet in there now as well, which is, you know, is good for me. I like to prefer the citrus end of it. Let's have a look, see what we get. Like, I can't pinpoint if there is citra in there or not, you know. Bit of a test. I don't think. Yeah, again, all I get from hops is kind of varying degrees of grapefruit, so I never still know. Very difficult to pick out which ones are which for me. What does it say? From across the ocean comes the resurgent West Coast IPA style. But they don't put that, they just put IPA. So is this a West Coast or not? Now, a lot of people have this discussion about West Coast IPAs, and certainly British West Coast IPAs, and because I never used to drink them until recently, I don't know what an old school West Coast IPA is meant to taste like, so I'll just taste the beer whether it's good or not at the time. So I can't actually comment. Here we go. Big citrus, big pine, and big bitterness come in waves throughout this brew, courtesy of some Big C hops. I promise you I've not read this. I generally don't bother just so I can get that interest. Get ready because the tide is changing and Big C is coming. Here we go. Simcoe, Citra, and Chinook. Well, it does kind of surprise me because I know this has been in my stash a while. It says best before the 28th of February 25. So it's not actually been in there that long. Like I say, I picked it up from, I think it was Sainsbury's, because I was sort of vaguely doing the whole supermarket sweep, and I've still got far too many beers from the supermarkets to get through for supermarket sweep. So we'll get through them at some point. Yeah, so it's not particularly, I wouldn't say that was unfresh. That's got, 3 months on it. It's probably had a couple. So I wouldn't say it was big, which for me is good. There's a gentleness to it, a juiciness to it, and plenty of fruitiness as well. It is mostly grapefruit, but it's more sweet grapefruit rather than bitter. As I say, there's a touch of pine. You can feel it around the edges, but it's not ripping my taste buds apart with a grapefruit like I might expect to normally complain about. Rob, good evening. Thanks for popping in. Early evening beers. pre-match beers for me. I don't even know what other football's about. If anybody else is watching a bit of football this evening on the TV or live or whatever, then do let me know. The group is getting Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome. Nice. Sounds good to me. Anything winter kind of beers, because you've got maybe a little bit of spices and bits and bobs in, unless it's pine. And I'm not so fussed on that kind of winterness. Beyond that, try to get a Christmas themed beer. At worst, just have a beer you enjoy during the holidays. Still got 3 Christmas themed beers from about 4 years ago. About 3 years ago. One of the first ever beer deliveries. Well, not the first ever. No, it was around about there. So it was from Beers Europe, and it was some really bad elf, Santa's arse or something. I'm not sure. Man City are playing in which Manchester team is that? Because they're both shitty at the moment, aren't they? Did say bring Banner. Yeah. Are they still playing in? Haven't they given up after losing 4 on a trot? Obviously, it's not in the Champions League. I know very little about Premier League football, to be fair. I basically just swap out random bantering insults and swap out the teams. So easily done. It's not even difficult. Don't have to think about it. But yeah, pre-match beers. The old travel group, the old Plymouth Argyle, a London branch drinking team, used to go up as early as possible, really. Usually getting a train out about 8-9 o'clock out of London. Usually starting on the beers about 9:05. Get somewhere for lunchtime, find a real ale pub, and get on the beers. So I thought, yeah, I've got plenty of beers to do that, and also drinking amongst friends. Welcome, one and all. I thought I'd do that for the stream, because who knows? It's a good way of getting into beer, and often, depending on who you support, especially if you support Argyle, a few beers with the match is probably the best way of getting through it. Often, the football is often 90 minutes interruption to the drinking. That's where drinking at home, watching football at home and drinking becomes a bit of a bonus, really. I always moan about it being on Sky and having to begrudgingly give my money to Uncle Rupert to watch it through Now TV. I don't even know if Uncle Rupert's in charge anymore, but either way, yeah, I begrudgingly give my money so I can at least watch a bit of football these days. And yeah, the bonus of actually watching football with beer, I suppose. They're still giving it a go. You know my lines. Home to Feyenoord. Well-known Dutch team, of course. I don't know. I keep going back for it and keep looking for those Seahawks, and it's yeah, it's not entirely my thing, but I'm kind of, because of the juiciness and the fruitiness and the kind of lightness of that, and it's not puckeringly piney or grapefruit. It is a bit drying, but it's not dank. It's not cloying for all that hoppiness. It's actually quite nicely balanced. It is one that I actually bought a bottle of lemonade today, and it is one that would shandy really well, because it'll bring that lemon, will bring it back and balance it out so much more. I'm not going to, because I've only got a couple of mouthfuls left. And then a couple of bigger beers to move on to. One, which again I've kept in the stash because I've just never got around to working out how to do it, because it's not one I ever thought I'd do. Well, it's not one I ever thought I'd put out on the stream or on a video, because it's not a brewery I drink a lot of beers from. More on that in just a sec. Let's get this down. That was beer number 1, and I forgot to put the banner up. So yeah, beer number 1, Mad Squirrel from Hertfordshire in Hemel Big C, 5.5% IPA, or as they sort of allude to on the back, a West Coast IPA. I don't really know. these terminologies to me are just, you know, covers for is it a good beer or not. And yeah, I think that's a good beer. Cheers, Mr. Wilson. I shouldn't have to rely on you to do it, and when I do, I manage to fail, even if you don't. But yeah, we'll do that for number 2, don't we? I like to mix it up a bit as well. You know what I mean? 40 odd shows, you think I'd know what I'm doing by now? Very clearly don't. Right, so in that case, you know what's coming. Beer number 2, please. Now, beer number 2, you've probably all seen this beer before, so it's no surprise to you necessarily, but to me, it is a surprise that I am drinking, or going to drink, an Adnams beer. Why, I hear you ask, what's wrong with Adnams? Everything. Never really liked most of their beers. Again, their use of hoppy kind of beer styles, you know, even I mean, I know it's well respected. Ghost Ship, cannot stand Ghost Ship. I have drunk it recently. It was one of the earliest videos I did, that never got released because the camera ran out of space back when I was doing it on the old mobile phone. So this is like 4 years ago, and I've never redone it. It was going to be, I said I'd never do this because I genuinely cannot stand Ghost Ship. It's in my top 5 least liked beers. I wouldn't say hated, just least liked, behind probably Spitfire and London Pride. All well regarded, kind of popular beers. But yeah, so Adnams, I don't really go for that much. I'm sure I've had, they started recently, let's say recently, the last 5 years or so, recognizing, you know, the whole craft beer movement and stuff like that. So they started into this kind of little bit of a craft journey, and they got into cans. And these cans, this one anyway, ended up in the supermarket. Somebody remind me, I think again it was Sainsbury's. Not sure if they're still there, but I picked this one up because I thought, well, it's about time I may be trying in this nice swirly carbonation going up there. Really clear, straw coloured beer, lots of carbo. Well, it does dissipate fairly quickly. Yeah, this one is 6.7% deep seas Belgian-style blonde. And as having done a couple of shows on Belgian-style blondes and wit beers, it's not a style I've massively got into, but I do respect as a style and should really look into. So I should have a look at Adnams maybe. I would like a trip to Adnams. I love the brewery. I love the, you know, the history, the fact it's a traditional kind of British brewery. I kind of like it. I've just seen the thing, the reminder to do the ticker. So yeah, I don't mind admitting, don't drink a lot of Adnams, don't really like Adnams or the Adnams beers, like in the brewery and what they do. Sorry, concentrating. Dead air. That's bad. But yeah, never really liked mostly their beers, mostly kosher. Yeah, that's why. And it took me a while to work that one out actually. Ghost Ship being mostly Citra. That'd be why I didn't like it. Just tasted grapefruit juice to me. I recognise it's a good beer. Obviously, it's in supermarkets, in bottles. I had a bottle. I put it on camera. It didn't work out. Still got the footage somewhere, which may or may not go on the blooper reel, along with yesterday's footage. But yeah, just didn't really like the grapefruit, and a lot of the hops that they used just went kind of grapefruity for me. So this is interesting. Let's give it a go. Cheers. I've got to get my head away from that Adnams kind of grapefruity Ghost Ship Citra business, because that smells lovely. That smells lovely, brioche, cakey, fruitiness and that kind of banana, a bit of marshmallow in there. I'm pleased that the old snozzer is playing ball today and actually allowing me to smell stuff and not too sniffy. Apologies for all that. I was watching a brief bit back the other day, and I'm sniffing and snorting, and I can't help it. Just trying to enjoy the beers. That smells lovely. That's like a banana sandwich. That's some really good quality sweet bread. Cheers. Yeah. On first sip, I don't know, you shouldn't judge it on first sip, but on first sip, that is the first Adnams beer I've enjoyed for many, many years. I believe in the last GBF I went to, probably before the lockdown, there was I think it was Adnams, I think it was a marshmallow stout that they did that I enjoyed, but certainly for light beers, it's got a little bit of roughness around the edges, kind of almost edging towards a kind of Belgian-y, saison-y style beer. That's a good question, Rob. I've just seen what that includes, but I'll come on to that in a minute. Let's finish the review. Big mouthful, so some good lacing developing already, like that. Mind you, there was some quite good lacing. I forgot to mention off the Big C. So fair play. These beers have been in the fridge. These two beers have been in the fridge all afternoon, so they're pretty well cooled. So a nice, refreshing beer. It's got a sort of edge on it that takes it away from being a fantastic beer. It's got that kind of slight roughness around the edges, slight farmhousey vibe. But as a Belgian-style beer, that's pretty close, to be fair. I'm going to have to think carefully about how I frame that surprise at liking Adnams, because, you know, they're a popular brewery. Yeah, talking of which, Rob, a question for you. Now that you're tasting more beers with Citra almost accidentally, not necessarily on purpose, but yeah, you're right. Have you thought about trying Oakham Citra? Now, it's funny you should say that, because having mentioned my top 5 least liked beers, Oakham Citra is in there. Is in probably number 4 or 5. So to complete that lineup, my least liked beers. Actually, that's really harsh, because there's a lot of beers I just wouldn't be bothering about. But yeah, I've always had a massive problem and a massive dislike for Ghost Ship, Spitfire, London Pride, Oakham Citra, and latterly Doombar. But yeah, Oakham Citra, I would, because I've just admitted to going back and trying Ghost Ship, although not actually releasing the video, under the banner of I said I'd never do this, which was a series I started and never properly completed. Yes, Oakham Citra is in there, and one I briefly considered it. They had cans, T90 Citra T90 cans in Wetherspoons, and I looked at it and I thought, I know how bad it's going to be, I think, and although my palate has changed, I don't want to keep sitting there and going, I don't like grapefruit, and but I can't help it. I do it on almost every beer review because I don't like grapefruit, and if I try these beers because you have to. You've got to have a range, haven't you? You've got to try it. Even something, but I always try something I think I will probably like. Let's pick this one up. But yeah, going back and trying Oakham Citra, will it happen at some point? If I ever get back to Peterborough, another great football trip was Peterborough way, because you stumble out of the station straight into the Oakham tap, which always used to kind of annoy me, because we used to go the other side of town. So various few pubs in Peterborough, and then we found the Bumble Inn, and we used to go there instead because the beers were better and I didn't have to drink Oakham. Oakham's dark beers aren't bad, but they're still, again, Oakham, they've had to kind of change a little bit. There's a little bit of power on it that wasn't so bad, but yeah. I will at some point probably go and try Oakham Citra, and I think, despite what I said about Ghost Ship in that video, was yes, I think it's a good beer, but it's just marred for me by all that Citra, and it's not balanced enough. And now what I'm doing is, in the summer, having had an all Citra IPA at the brewery. Hey, 31 minutes in until I've mentioned Perivale Brewery. That must be some kind of record. It would have been if it had been 33. But yeah, yeah, an all Citra lineup beer that I actually really enjoyed and went back for, smashed through pint after pint of it. I cannot imagine myself going back and smashing pint after pint of Ghost Ship or Oakham Citra. Sadly, again, recognise them. I say recognise it's probably a good beer. Going back now would be a different matter, because back then I was drinking or trying to drink it in pubs, and I had this recollection of this one particular pub in Peterborough where it should be really good because it hasn't travelled far, and just being earthy, grapefruity. I describe it as like dirt, and by what I mean by that is that I don't go around eating dirt, but if you ever happen to have a mouthful of gravel or something brushes against the lips or whatever, like you've got that kind of earthy dirtiness. The smell of the ground just after rain is called a petrichor, I believe, but that's what I associate with it, that kind of fresh hopped earthiness that you sometimes get. But yeah, there you go. Too much info, maybe. My next live, Disco drinking a Citra beer, Rob drinking a Galaxy beer, me drinking a smoked beer. It's a great lineup. You've got to challenge yourself. You've got to give these things a go. But I don't understand why Galaxy is such a problem. I mean, I put Citra, Galaxy, Simcoe all in the same bucket, really. I don't know enough about them all because I tried them and they all taste like grapefruit. Depends which Galaxy lot uses. I may enjoy it. If it's Galaxy chocolate, that's Galaxy chocolate stout. That should be a tie-up I'd drink. Maybe the same. Yeah, well, generally I agree with Crummy Beer, because me and Crummy Beer are sort of aficionados of disliking Citra generally. Another well-known Citra disliker. But yeah. How are we doing for time? Got to keep an eye. Oh, that's all right. Mainly because I want to nip off and see the Argyle pre-show on YouTube. It's usually a roundup of everything they've done the week before and loads of highlights. But there's a few interviews and something interesting. Argyle TV is pretty good, or was pretty good, until they got the actual content wrestled off them. Normally I'd be paying a tenner directly to Argyle for their own TV package to show the game tonight. But instead I had to pay 30 or 4 quid or whatever it was to Now TV to watch Sky through them. Actually, I think it was 12 quid last season, wasn't it, for Argyle TV? So sort of saving, but I'd rather give Argyle 36 quid than Now TV 34. I think it's 34.99. So yeah, this one is getting a little bit more that rough around the edges now. That sort of that breadiness, banana's kind of still there. Touch of, I think that rough around the edges is that kind of sort of clovey kind of spiciness in some beers, maybe. Quite a decent can wrap. Is that blue or green? That's a general conversation that happens at Disco Arms quite a lot about the difference between blue and green. There's a little bit of both in there for me. Sideways. Let's have a look how long it's been sitting in the stash. Best before 03.25. 2 in-date beers. I'm not holding out a lot of hope for the third one. That's been there a while, but it should be okay. Established 1872. So, like I say, loving the history. Immerse yourself in intense waves of flavour. Yeah, fair enough. Which comes rolling in during fermentation. Adnams yeast has a real Belgian accent when you really dive in. Its rich Belgian fruitiness and mild floral spice make a splash in a Belgian-style blonde. Mandarina Bavaria adds tangerine notes, while wheat stirs up lavish depth and foam. Mandarina is a hop, has various different divergences. Mandarina Bavaria in a lot of German-style beers. But there's also other Mandarina beers. Mandarina is a beer that I really would love to get hold of. Got to get myself over to Windsor and Eton. They do a Mandarina. It used to be called Mandarina. I think it's just called Mandarin now, which I think has Mandarina hops in it. Was a fabulous beer back in the day. And obviously haven't had it in the last 5 years. I was vaguely contemplating cycling over to Windsor on Friday, apart from the football. But yeah, Mandarina Bavaria is a kind of underrated hop, I think. Mostly because it's kind of subtleties, but there are different variants of it. So that's a hop I quite like. Again, I always say SARS because it confuses people. But next up probably is Mandarina as a favourite hop. Hallertau is another one. And I often get the two a little bit confused. Just going to be getting through the stash as he's drinking more and more in day. Yeah, no, there is still a bundle of beers, and I think I still have to do 3 a day for the next 3 months to actually get through the stash. And there's still quite a few out of date ones. I've tried to mix it up by putting some of the more in date ones, and also it's been just purely because of the vague themes I've tried to smash them together. But yeah, there is a few that have been in there for too long. And I will end up just doing a bunch of random Tuesday tipples. Make it a Thursday tipple again if I can. Might even do it this week, but I think I'm working Friday. In fact, I am working Friday because I'm delivering on Friday, so probably drinking on Thursdays. Not a great idea, although I'm not driving early. Doing not a big delivery, but doing a good-sized delivery of cask and keg to Pig's Ear Beer Festival. So if I can find a beer list, I might do a preview of that. I'm not sure I'm going to actually get over to, because it's over in East London. Pig's Ear Beer Festival. It's a beautiful festival. Like, it's fairly small but it's one of the bigger East London festivals, or bigger London festivals, in a lovely old church, big circular church outbuilding, lovely balcony. It's one me and Rasko always tried to get to pre-lockdown. I think he has been back since, but more because of the travel, not the travel there so much. Getting back will be a bit of a pain. So I might take a brief look around on Friday, and that'll be me locked. But because I'm driving, I won't be able to have a beer, and probably shouldn't have too much on Thursday night. But I might do that and have a quick look around on Thursday. Let's see. But yeah, I am getting through the stash. But again, like I say, on Monday more beers arrived. And I'm looking on Friday to order some more, so it's probably never going to go down. I also concepted a plan of just like being an alcoholic for a week and just drinking all of the stash before Christmas, which I don't think is good optics, but it'll be a lot of fun. If I just like do an 8-hour stream, I haven't got the StreamYard capability for that because you can only have 12 hours. 12 hours a month, I think, and I might pay. I don't know. Yeah. do I just do? I mean, like, my idea at some point is to get like 7-hour streams, 7 daily 1-hour streams. Get through 3 beers and all of them, and even then, yeah, nowhere near 20 a month. Oh, 20 a month on StreamYard. Fair play. I could probably manage that then. Hour and a half a day. Yeah, get 7 consecutive days on the stream. That would be my aim, just to get through the beers, and then spend a week of trying not to order any more. Rob says Galaxy for me goes from beer to beer. I mean, it depends if it's single hopped or if there's something else in there to kind of balance it or like take over or whatever. I had a few in the last 12 months where it's so gnarly and rough, it just ain't pleasant. But then if it's brewed by Verdant or Cloudwater, don't touch Cloudwater. Another great beer mystery is why I just don't do Cloudwater. I don't really do Verdant either, apart from those couple of beers. The great hot lot. I see. Okay, well, fair enough. Like, if you know where you're getting it from, you know it's good, then fair play. Yeah, Galaxy's another one. I just lump in with all the others, to be fair. But yeah, this one, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's an interesting attempt at the Belgian style, a Belgian blonde. a little bit clear maybe for a blonde, but it has got that kind of slight. I think Belgian blondes I always imagined to be a bit hoppier. In fact, blonde beer in general I always imagined to be a little hoppier. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I did say I was going to do that for a while. I'd love for you to do a load of single hop beers, including Citra single hop, completely blind to see whether it's on it. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. There is a certain amount of bias, like I say, from Ghost Ship and Oakham Citra along the way, and various others. That's probably. I tell you what. It's something I sort of imagined to do eventually, with a bit of assistance. Yeah, do that blind taste test to yeah, just to see where I get. I say I do try not to look, like I say with this one. I knew there was some sea hops in there. I didn't know what. So I try not to get that bias. I only get the bias afterwards once I've read the back. But I generally try not to. It's why I like cans like this, because I read. You got the beer name and the beer style. So I look at the front and think, well, I'll try that. It could be okay, but I try not to look. Sometimes the beer name does influence me. If it's anything to do with the hop name or hop character or title, then I am immediately biased against it. But I will buy it if it's in a green label. You know. But yeah, I did for a while try to look at single hopped beers to try and get that individuality, but there's just so many of them that I felt that I was always going to go, probably because of the bias, I was always going to go, it's just grapefruit, it's all right. Because the single hop beers generally tend to be IPAs or pale ales or sessions. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get enough from it. I might as well just go and sit and do a bunch of reading online about what the supposed flavour notes are, rather than buying beers that I probably aren't going to like. I tend to buy beers just because I think I'm going to like them or want to try them. Yeah, double Ghost Ship at the weekend, which is a really bad name. It's a more double dry hopped Ghost Ship. Yeah, I looked at that and I think, is that not another one in supermarkets? And I did think about that. Is it time to do that video, do that comparison video? I haven't got a video out for 2 months. No, I've had one in like 2 or 3 months, because I've still got 4 videos in edit I keep meaning to do, including 2 Disco Day beers before I even get, normally in December, the next Disco Day beers, and I've got the beers lined up for it. And I kind of want to clear the path. I want to get those beers all edited and uploaded. And because I spend a lot, I don't even spend that much time banging up live streams, but because Monday and Tuesday is my editing days, and I just haven't got around to it. I keep looking at it, and I hate the edit. I don't hate the edit, but I love the edit process when it works. But listen to my voice talking utter rot and trying to, edit out all the stuff, because I can't just put a video up with me just talking warts and all, which is why I took down yesterday's video, because there was a loss of warts on that one. Yeah, Colonel would be a great single hop series to try, because of their no nonsense approach to beers. I've never really got into Colonel. Again, another craft beer viewpoint that is very unpopular. I look at Colonel and go, because of their plain style and that, it just sort of doesn't hold out a lot of interest for me. I mean, their porters, their export porter, India porter, just by beer description, does hold a lot of interest. I've just never quite got around to it, because because I'm doing beers for review, I can't find enough interest in it. But I don't doubt. In fact, I know they are really, really good beers. Again, that's another series of beers. But because too many beers, not enough me. Paul, thanks for popping in. Good morning, afternoon to you. I'm on an early afternoon stream, getting a few beers in before the football. Cheers to you. You probably know the name Adnams. They've attempted a Belgian-style blonde, which is not bad, even though I do say so myself, because I'm not a massive Adnams fan. Well, Remind me, but I'm brewing a single hop pale in January with a new hop called Crush and a new yeast called Pomona. I'll send you a bottle. We can do a drink along with. Yeah, fair play. I've heard of Crush, but I don't know anything about it at all. A yeast called Pomona, is that like Pomona Island doing a Verdant style yeast distro or something? But yeah, we'll try it. And like, because of that, because it's a new hop and I don't know anything about it, I think I would have less of like as Mersey says, that kind of bias against it or anything like that. But yeah, yeah, and hopefully by then I'll get distribution sorted out and I can send you a bunch of beers. Because I haven't done that yet. I did promise that a while back, and we haven't quite got distro sorted yet, but we will. I think it's coming. Got some beers to send out. See if people like it. Yeah, we've got to get all sorted. Got all the labelling done. We've got some cans on the bar, so once we get it on the website and the website sorted, it'll be available for distribution into the big wide world. And that'd be a scary thing for a brewery. Yeah, so not too bad. Adnams, Deep Sea, 6.7%. Belgian-style blonde. Unexpectedly enjoyable from Adnams. How's my cursor not working? Come on. Oh, there we go. Crush isn't that new? More of a new name. It's HBC, right, has been around for a number of years that they finally named. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new hops come out fairly recently. Yeah, it started off being like a HBC number. I keep saying HBC 459, but that's just a general thing. Good. Okay, yeah, nice one. Pomona is a yeast from Lalaman, but nothing to do with Pomona Island. Oh, okay. Is that like a new yeast in that it brings something new and different to the beers from any of the other yeasts that Lalaman do? I don't know. Well, there we are. We are 3/4 of the way through tonight's pre-match show, pre-football game, pre-football beers. I barely even mentioned the football. I try not to mention the football. Rasko said this to me the other day. I thought we weren't talking about football, and I'm not. It's just a show theme, and yeah, not everybody likes football. Somebody does. Few of you do. So we sort of talk about it general around the periphery. But yeah, superb. Well, here we go then. Yeah, I need another beer, so let's do beer number 3, please. Well, I would do beer number 3, but I seem to have. Not only did I not do the. Not only did I not do the upload of the intro. Well, I didn't actually do the upload of the beer ban as well. So let's do this real quick, live again, just to reinstate my complete incompetence. What's it called? It is called Crimes Against Brewing, and it is not spelt like that. There we go. Yeah, it is a 10% Imperial Stout. See, the big Imperial Stout worked well on Friday pre-game. It's a carrot and a walnut. What's it called? Yeah, carrot and carrot and walnut cake pastry stout. So everybody tell me the difference between a pastry stout and Imperial Stout. Probably isn't none. All right, yeah. So beer number 3. Now we finally got it sorted. Is Crimes Against Brewing, 10%. Carrot and walnut cake pastry stout from Neon Raptor up in Nottingham. Only once again vaguely relevant because of the C name, carrot, and the fact it's in a green can wrap. This one has been sitting in my stash for far too long because I was going to do a show entitled Night of the 10% Beers, and that is still possible because there's still a few 10% beers in there. But yeah, because of Friday night's beer, Doris gets her oats from Pomona Island, which was an 11% chocolate and cardamom stout. Adam and Mersey Beers hated it just on site, but I love that beer. This is, if I did beer of the year, and I don't do beer of the year anymore because of working at a brewery and it kind of a little bit of bias going on, but that is a very, very drinkable beer. After the stream on Friday, I decanted it into a coffee cup, took it round the corner to where I was watching the football, and poured it out into a glass, and it got me through the first half. 11%. It was decadent. It was smooth. It was beautiful chocolate flavour, lovely aroma on it, and that little kind of cardamom kind of spiciness on the background didn't overawe the chocolate. It just made for a very beautiful sippy beer to get me through the football. So I'm hoping this Neon Raptor malarkey is going to do the same at 10%. Although I've got a bit of time, I might not actually take it around the corner to watch the football with it. Significantly thinner looking than the Pomona Island one. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone, but there's a lot of fizz on it for a 10% stout. But yeah, lovely pour. I say a little fizzy. I'm going to do the photo anyway. I like the can wrap on that with the bright green and stuff like that. So, ooh. See which one of those comes out better. I have to put the old laptop down because it shines on the glass. But there you go. Let me just check that's in focus. Oh yeah, that's in focus. Not even doing the old portrait thing there on that one. Yeah, Crimes Against Brewing. So I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time actually. Find out a minute just how long it's been sitting in the stash. I think I picked this one up. I'm fairly certain I picked this one up from Trembling Madness in York off some kind of random order a while back. Let's have a look. Are we in date? What do we reckon? Are we in date for this one? Are we in date for this one? What do you reckon? 24th of the 3rd, 23, I think is the brew day, but under a BBE it says 24th of the 9th, 24. So I'm out by a month, but it's a 10% stout, so it shouldn't really matter. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's have a nose. Nose is starting to block up a little. So there's only the faintest of a little bit of chocolate there, I think. Let me go over here. Hopefully you can't hear it. It's more roastiness, I think, than chocolate. Cheers. Wow, big booziness on there. Can I taste walnut or carrot? No. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of walnut there. There's a slight nuttiness, I suppose. At a brewery, there's bakery next door, and they occasionally do a carrot cake, but they also do a walnut cake. Really good with a coffee in the morning. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. It's a big beer. Always some stickiness as well. Is that walnut cake stickiness? More honey than sugar, but yeah. Is it maple syrup? What's the difference? You know, I like a stout. It's not going to test that Pomona Island for beer of the year. It is good. I mean, carrot cake and walnut cake is a very specific flavour. I don't know what it's like together. I've never had it, but it's interesting. Interesting. People, yeah, well, you know, which one? Okay, this homebrew, right? That was the yeast. Well, isn't it? Is the beer name going to be "Let's Crush It," or is it "My First Crush"? It depends how much you love it, I suppose. Ah, there we go. My first hop crush. I've got a crush on that. A crush on you. The possibilities are almost endless there. Need to find a beer that looks like seawater but tastes like beer. That's basically what I used to say about Ghost Ship. No, actually, no, it's what I used to say about London Pride. Was all they did was dip the pint glass or dip the barrel into the Thames next door, and effectively that could be what Adnams is on the coast, Southford, isn't it? It's an estuary rather than the North Sea, particularly. Yay! Just about to open my first beer, which is AF. No eyes, just driving later. Fair play. It's a coffee dark lager, which is AF brewed by Polish. The Polish. That's a hell of a find. That's niche. Polish arm of Carlsberg. I didn't know there was a Polish arm of Carlsberg, let alone doing an alcohol-free coffee dark lager. I've been making great moves to get dark lager brewed at the brewery. Don't know about coffee. There's no need for that particularly. A dark lager would do, but yeah, that sounds interesting. As I found out about alcohol-free beers the other day, it might not be as good as it sounds, but yeah. If you could amend that comment, yes, I know a nominally out-of-date beer. It's only nominal. It's still a good beer. I'm surprised at how fizzy it is, to be fair, for a nominally out-of-date beer. But yeah, normality is resumed. What's a 400ml bottle from Poland? Well, I mean, yeah, they're bound to be different, aren't they? Why 400ml? That's unusual. Oh, yeah, you're beautiful, sir. Yeah, back to normality. Slightly out of date, nominally out of date beers. Synthetic coffee tastes like instant coffee with a lot of sugar in it. I'm fine with that because I've never yet tasted a beer that's too sweet. So yeah, it's got to be syrup rather than kind of raspy sugar. It isn't bad, just odd. I suppose, I don't know. If you're driving on the soft drinks, you want a coffee. I'm not a big fan of cold coffee unless it's in a beer, which is odd and makes no sense, except all the sense in the world because I like coffee beers, especially a dark lager. If it goes towards kind of slightly cold coffee, I'm all up for that, to be fair. It's something I would try, especially, well, apart from the fact it's from Carlsberg and my well-known dislike of anything Carlsberg, not anything, just the more populist Carlsberg. And that doesn't sound populist, that sounds very niche. Maybe it's popular in Poland, I don't know. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's very clearly like an Imperial pastry stout. I don't know whether because it is that near month out of date that the carrot and walnut, whatever flavours there were, there's not even that much nuttiness really anymore. There was briefly. There's a little bit of coffee, more coffee than chocolate. There's more coffee, more chocolate on the aroma. Neon Raptor is another one I'm meant to get onto, and I'm more likely to get onto Neon Raptor than some of the other big breweries. Big craft breweries are generally well thought of and well popular, your Verdants, your Deas, etc., etc. I think Neon Raptor are kind of in that echelon of big beers, well-known popular craft brewery. a lot of interesting discourse around Neon Raptor, the split that went into Asvex, etc. So it's not one I don't think I've ever got an order direct from them, even when they did a disco beer, a disco vampire, which is out at the moment. I'm not going to go for that again because I did it 2 years in a row, 2 years ago, and I don't think it's changed significantly enough for me to re-include it in the disco collection and do it again this year. I'm not short of beers in the disco collection. I've always got Neon Raptor, I think, from Tremble of Madness, which is why I've got this one. I am looking at Tremble of Madness. They haven't got any new disco beers in for me, but they have got a disco cider, a whiskey barrel-aged cider in a big 750 bottle, but it's 13 quid. And I'm like, do I need to do that? I keep looking at Nightingale's Wild Disco, but the disco collection is predominantly beer. I mean, there is that madness in there. Yeah, you can't see it. Keep it out of the way now, but that was a cocktail. But yeah, I'm contemplating that in the next week. That's a third beer order. But yeah, I don't think I will. This is a maybe a prescient comment. This isn't bad. It is a bit odd. It's just a perfectly decent 10% stout. So I can't particularly get carrot cake. I can't particularly get walnut cake. I can't particularly get cake, to be fair. But again, I'm not dishing Neil match on that. That is kind of my fault for not really getting round to this beer in good time. It's probably not a good way of judging Neon Raptor. I don't judge Neon Raptor. Rory would kill me for a start. It wouldn't. You fucking wouldn't. I'd fucking have. No. I'm not doing all that. All that YouTube banner. I'd like a beer with Rory, to be fair. I would have a beer with Rory. I'd buy it, but we don't agree pretty much on anything in the beer world, me and Rory. Dave Pimsrow used to work at Neil Raptor, but yeah, go and check out his channel if you haven't already. It's a laugh. I think it's mostly tongue-in-cheek and a pastiche on general beer reviewing is kind of funny. But I just don't agree with a lot of the stuff he talks about. I don't hate him for it. I'm not cancelling him or all that bullshit. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny. I've put a few comments his way and we'll banter a little bit. But yeah. I think everybody here is fully aware of Craft Beer Basic, Rory from Nottingham. So I'm probably preaching to the converted, really, but yeah, loving his work. Big beardy white guy talking about beer. What can you do? Oh, let me see. I wonder if the team news is out yet. It's not going to be important to you guys, but it's going to be important to me. And probably not going to make a lot of difference. Sparta Prague losing. Never mind. No, lineup's not out yet. It should be. It's an hour to go. Evidently not. Oh well, never mind. It's not going to make a lot of difference to you guys what the Argyle lineup is any more than the Norwich one, but I like to check these things out. Oh, here we go. See, here we go. I'm going to use the streaming platform formerly known as X. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this, but there we go. See, it's useful for information. A lot of people have left the streaming platform formerly known as Twitter. But here we go. Grimshaw in goal. Barley Mumba. Hula Pegazela. Sooks. Callum Wright getting a start. Good on. Mustafa Bundu. Good man. Darko Gaebi. Not my favourite player, but he does a good job. Andre Gray up front. Captain, fantastic local lad, Adam Randall, of course, the heart of midfield in there. Matty Sorinola, love the player, love his passion and ability, and he's got a bad run, but yeah, and Paulson, Icelandic international, played during the week. Interesting, Andre Gray scored 2 fantastic world-class goals on Friday that got us the 2-2 draw at Watford. In case anybody was interested, by the way, because I did the pre-Watford stream, barely talked about the football. And shout out to my mate James up at Conwy Brewery, which I thought was really interesting when he finally gave us a guided brewery tour. Big thank you to James for that. Hopefully I'll get him on for a chat at some point, maybe over Christmas if I can, if he's got time. He's a busy man between working at the brewery, family stuff and other stuff. So yeah, massive thanks to James for that. And yes, at some point I need to get a little live from Conwy Brewery if I go up and visit him. It's a fabulous place for a brewery on an industrial estate, and some of those beers were great. So that was a good stream on Friday. I really enjoyed that. Didn't know any Norwich fans that was available to come on today to talk about Norwich. Don't know a lot about Norwich. I know it's a good place for beer. There's a pub. It's called the Fat Cat. Has anybody been to Norwich for a beer? This beer's good. Not as good as Friday's. Big stout to finish. Sorry, just looking at the pictures. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so did ask if anybody else was drinking tonight. It's a bit early. If anybody's doing, oh yeah, Adnams doing alcohol-free post-work. I'm not post-work because I didn't work today. It's basically my Sunday today. I am in tomorrow, so I've got to take it fairly easy. But it's not an early start. I don't think. We're not brewing, packaging tomorrow. Probably the Christmas beer. A pine pale ale with actual pine needles in. It's not going to be my thing, but I'll give it a go. Maybe or may not review it. I probably will be reviewing the Christmas stout though. Like I said on Friday with the rum and raisin in it. Christmas cake stout. Sounds good. It's tasting really nice. But yeah, there we go. I'm off around the corner to watch the pre-match Argyle show. Some 3 really good beers. Actually, I've enjoyed all the beers, to be fair. Not all been my thing, but this has arguably been the nicest. This has been very interesting. Again, for a Big C bunch of Big C hop beers, the Mad Squirrel was great. I like Mad Squirrel. I love what they do. So I will always go to them. We'll have a beer later. I'd hope to go out, but bar's still not. You're waiting for the Stoutzilla from Lombard. Lombard is another brewery I need to get to. I've had 1 or 2 of their beers. Need to look into them very much closely if I can. But yeah, that has been the new live show, number 41, Tuesday Tipple. Up the greens. And I barely mentioned Argyle, if I can. I haven't even done the song. I'll do that on the outro. Listen, thanks everybody for coming back in, despite the fact of yesterday's fiasco. That will probably go till next Monday. I think I'll do Nitro Monday. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do Adam's suggestion of Monday night Nitro, because it's a bit of a mouthful. Hopefully the beers are. But thanks to all you guys for popping in. Cheers to Emma. Shout out to Blue Nose Beer Reviews, who is live shortly. Apologies to him, I won't be watching. I'll be watching the mighty Argyle. Does that mean he won't be watching the mighty Birmingham City, or are they not playing tonight? But yeah, please send my love to Blue Nose and tell him mighty Argyle. But yeah, I'm going to finish this beer off and head around the corner. I might even decant it and take it for the first half, to be fair. I've got to choose some beers for the game. These are pre-game beers. I've got to choose some beers for the actual game. I don't know what they're going to be. Let's go and have a look in the stash. But yeah, thanks to everybody for popping in for this pre-game football show. Until the next one. I'm not sure when the next actual live show will be. It might be Thursday. I'm not sure. Won't be doing one tomorrow night. Might be Thursday. Might be at the weekend. I fancy a stout Sunday at some point if I can get sorted. Yeah, so do we. So I've got half hour to get around the corner, get some food, watch the pre-game Argyle show on Argyle TV on YouTube, and see what happens. Birmingham on Sky as well. Maybe I'll look into that if our game isn't that good. Who knows? Yeah, thanks everybody. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't already, because I know most of you guys have. Thank you very much indeed, and we'll see you soon. Let's do the outro. In fact, first of all, let's do the song. Green Army! Green Army! I'm assuming you're following on. Green Army! Whoa, hang on before we end. What? I just seen this? I didn't know that. They're away at Shiter. Well, come on, the Blue Nose, come on. They're away, as our former goalkeeper tweeted the other day. They're away at the bin juice of Devon. Get on. Well, I'm definitely in the stream now. Green Army. Green Army. Green Army.